Hi folks, in this week's Tech Tuesday, I just wanted to share a little tool that you might find useful if you're interested in trying out doing some stop motion videos with your class. This is an extension that you can add to your Chrome browser, or that you can add to Chrome on a Chromebook. And it doesn't need any special equipment other than some sort of a camera, so you could use the built-in camera on a device, or you could use a webcam. Using a webcam is obviously a lot easier because then you can position it and angle it. The company that develops this is actually a manufacturer of relatively low-cost classroom visualizers, which you can use. It's like a camera in a stand, basically, that you can use to display whatever you have on your desk up on your screen really easily. So it's really handy for doing art demos and stuff like that. But you don't need to have one of their cameras. I've got one, but it would work with any webcam. And you simply go into the Chrome Web Store, search for the OKIOCAM stop motion extension, add to Chrome. They have another extension which is actually more for using the visualizer. And again, you can use that with a visualizer, with a webcam, so that you can kind of use it as a visualizer on your screen. So quite handy either way. But in this case, it allows you to make really simple stop motion videos, and the kind of process of doing it's all kind of wrapped up quite easily together. There's not a lot of complexity to it, so it's maybe ideal for a wee art project with one of your classes. So this is a little example of something I did in like 2 minutes, just to illustrate the kind of way that it works. So this is the processing screen here that you get to after you've taken all the pictures, and you can control the number of frames per second. And when you've finished with your video, so if we're happy with it here, we can go to the next bit, and that will allow us to add things like background music, or to download it or finish it, and then we can actually upload it directly to our Google Drive, share it, all sorts of stuff like that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to discard it so I can just quickly show you how the process looks from the start. So on your kind of workspace here, I'll just kind of use the wee brightness button on my camera to brighten up a wee bit. Whatever you might happen to be doing, let's just say like the two post-its that I had. So just stick them down here. So really down at the bottom, you've got a little record button, and if you hit that, it now comes up with a snapshot, and you'll see that there's also a space bar is what you can use to take a snapshot. So each of these snapshots is going to be a frame within your video. So we'd do our first line, hit the space bar, next line, space bar. You get the idea. And you'll see that they all accumulate down at the bottom of the page. I'll just do this really quickly. So I'll not go through the whole process, but you can see those accumulating at the bottom. Now here's the really handy thing. It has this thing called onion skinning. So if you want objects to move within the frame, which is where you would usually do this, you can actually grab things and move them, and you can see a kind of an overlay of where they were before. So it helps you kind of visualize how things are moving each time you move them. And every time you hit the space bar, it resets that onion skinning feature, so you can see your things moving, and it lets you just kind of keep the movement well managed and organized. And really that's all there is to it. You just kind of adjust the position of whatever it is. So if it's a clay model, you'd adjust its position, or objects in the desk that are going to assemble themselves, or a message that's going to write itself. You just add them all to the bottom. And when you've got them down here, if you've accidentally, like I quite often do this, accidentally take a picture of my hand in it, you can just right click and delete one. Or if you wanted to extend a section out to make it last longer, you'll see you can duplicate. So that allows you to add some extra frames that are just the same as the last one if you want to pause in the movement, as it were. So when you've done all that, you simply hit the stop button, and that will replay your stop motion, and then you can go back if you're not finished, if you wanted to just check how it looks, have a wee play around with it, add some more frames, so on and so forth. And you'll see that you've got a zoom control as well, so you can zoom in and out of objects as part of your recording. There's various other controls in here that you can use to manage the resolution of your camera and bits and pieces like that as well. So I find it really handy for just doing little fun stop motion challenges. You might find it useful with some of your classes too.